The Preston.
Wait. Oh, there's a bad picture. I got it. We're good. Yeah. But the next page, does it have, Oh, yeah, I don't play like that. I think so. Yeah. Oh, they're playing.
Should we start the next one? Should we start the next one? No.
I see the bagpipers.
Oh, okay.
Dude, oh my god.
down. Esteemed colleagues, alumni, parents, family members, and friends, our underformers, members of the class of 2024, faculty, staff, and I want to thank you for every effort and sacrifice you have made to be with us today. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Millbrook School's 93rd Commencement Exercises. Reverend, sure, please. Reverend Cameron Reynolds Hardy will bless this commencement. No one is better suited for the task, as the Rev's Millbrook connections are broad and deep. With her husband, Bill, she joined the Millbrook faculty in 1990, and together they are Millbrook parents 3 times over. A graduate of Bowdoin College and Yale Divinity School, she serves Millbrook in exceptional ways as an advisor, dorm parent, teacher, and most of all, our chaplain, Reverend Hardy. Do you have it?
Good morning and welcome again. It's so wonderful to see you, and welcome back to so many of you out there. It's wonderful to have us all gathered here today. Lama Tenzin, our Buddhist monk in residence this spring, said over and over to us, "What's past is past, and we have no control over the future. Be here and now and pay attention." I invite us all to do the same. I'm not going to contextualize my invocation as I have in the past for graduating seniors by looking back on what they have shared with us in their time here, their special character, that which you have gone through. And I'm not going to project into your future. No, the future is now. So I invite us all, and especially you, seniors, to slow down, take a breath, take in everything that makes up this moment, everything and everyone who participates in your life. How does this make you feel? What words or thoughts come to mind? Hold on to these thoughts and feelings and then let them collectively and individually be your character description. Let your collective energy buoy us in this moment, and let it bring us to one more flash of joy and humor and pride, because that is what we feel for you. By we, I include your families. Pride, fun, joy, and trust that you are resourceful and strong. How much trust did it take that you would be okay, dropped off here, separated for months at a time in your 3rd form year from your families? And to your families, we offer our deepest gratitude and respect. Thank you for partnering with us and trusting in our ability to keep your children safe in their early years and to help them each to thrive. Our greatest hope is that you understand how much we love them. In blessing this ceremony today, on behalf of my colleagues, I honor you, the great class of 2024, and your families. Thank you for showing us, ultimately, how not to fear our vulnerabilities. And thank you for your courage and creativity as we keep evolving as a school and as a global community. And with that, I invite us all to call upon what is highest and deepest by the name each holds sacred and dear. Spirit of life and love, we ask for comfort and peace as we remember all those dear to us who are not with us today, for the lives lost or forever changed by sickness, war, natural disasters, and social strife. We ask for healing and strength. Let your presence be known to us this day as we honor and celebrate the various paths that the members of this graduating class have taken, the ways in which they have given, and the legacies they will leave. Help us to hold in our hearts and minds their many accomplishments, the joys and sorrows we have shared, and as we celebrate change, the very essence of life, we have all been challenged, we have grown, and we have been transformed this year. Be present as we give you praise. Amen.
Thank you, Dad. On this Memorial Day weekend, it is proper and right to honor the members of our armed forces, especially those who have given their lives in service to our country. Please stand and join me in singing verses 1 and 4 of America the Beautiful. The music can be found as an insert in your programs, verses 1 and 4. That was beautiful. Please be seated. I want to welcome Mr. Steve Rogers, trustee of Millbrook School and parent of Ashley, class of 2024, and Emily, class of 2025. Steve Rogers is a partner of Morgan Stanley Capital Partners. There, Steve leads healthcare investing efforts as a member of the investment committee. Steve is also a member of the investment committee of the Next Level Fund and the Morgan Stanley Investment Management Diversity Council. Mr. Rogers joined Morgan Stanley in 2018 from J.H. Whitney Capital Partners, where he was a senior managing director focusing on private equity investments. At Whitney, Mr. Rogers was a member of the investment committee and led the firm's healthcare investing activities. Mr. Rogers was a managing partner at the Riverside Company, a global private equity firm, and he was also a financial analyst at Alex. Brown & Sons Incorporated. Mr. Rogers serves or has served on the board of directors of Ovation Fertility, Aviana Healthcare, US Health Connect, SpendMend, and Clarity Software, and previously served on the board of directors of a number of other healthcare companies, including Amisys, Synertech, Herbalife, Patient Keeper, and Symbion. Mr. Rogers also serves on the board of advisors at the Geisel School of Medicine and the Magnuson Center for Entrepreneurship at Dartmouth College. He is a member of the board of trustees here He graduated cum laude from Dartmouth College and holds an MBA from Stanford University's Graduate School of Business. Please join me in welcoming Steve Rogers to offer a welcome on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, John, and thank you, everyone. On behalf of the Millbrook Board of Trustees, it is my distinct pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the 93rd graduation ceremony. Class of 2024, you made it. Congratulations. I want to start by thanking again the faculty, staff, and administration of Millbrook. This day comes as a result of the love and dedication you have for your craft. I carefully chose the word craft because there is no instruction manual for the great work that you do. It can be painful and joyful all at the same time, but your work leaves an indelible imprint on the lives of so many. Today, we get to celebrate that accomplishment with the class of 2024. Class of 2024, can I get another round of applause for the faculty, staff, and administration? I also want to thank the parents of the class of 2024 again. The decision to send your children to Millbrook is calculated and well thought out, but it's still a bet. Now, as bets go, the Millbrook track record is stellar. I'm sure you did all your research, and Millbrook passes all the gates to be considered a safe and reliable bet. It sure beats betting on the horses at the Preakness a few weeks ago or blackjack in the casinos of Nevada. But nonetheless, we all said that we think our children will benefit from this experience and that we were willing to have them live and sleep somewhere else before college. It was not an easy decision for my wife and I, who had not experienced boarding school firsthand. So on behalf of the board, I just want to congratulate the parents of the class of 2024 on hitting the most important jackpot that you ever will in your lives. Parents of the class of 2024, you nailed it. It's my opinion that your investment in your children, now adults, has outperformed any investment or any choice that you have made thus far in your lives. Class of 2024, can I get a round of applause for your parents? Okay, class of 2024, on to you. In a recent conversation with a 2024 graduate of Millbrook and friend of my daughter Ashley's, we'll call him Sammy, this young man reflected on an interesting question. How did we all get to Millbrook? What caused our paths to cross in this amazing place? I think we quickly concluded that every single story of how and why was different. Yet for years, and for most of you, paths collided, and none of the graduates of the class of 2024 will ever be the same again because of the intersection with their other 98 classmates. On multiple days each week, I get on a train to Grand Central Station. I pass through that great hall with thousands of other people. With the exception of running into a friend here or there, as soon as I leave, the faces of the people I see are erased from my mind. The identities of those people, their hopes and dreams, until the next day when I walk by the same people without knowing that I walked by them the day before or what had transpired in their lives in the last 24 hours. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should all interrupt our morning commute in order to get to know our fellow commuters, or that would even be practical. I raise this example really to point out the similarities, but more importantly, the stark differences between that great train station and Millbrook. In both, we intersect with people who are all on different paths. But at Millbrook, the journey becomes intertwined. Community is developed, and diversity of experience and thought become the building blocks of growth, change, maturation, and love. Now, I will not pretend that this means that everything is always going to be easy and fun. Living and breathing communities experience pain, hurt, and loss, and the class of 2024 certainly knows about this. But my words of advice to the class of 2024 are that the return on investment of leaning into your community and embracing diverse perspectives is one of the most valuable investments that you can make in your life when you leave here. As we get older, engagement becomes more and more optional. Community service in college is not something you have to show up for on Saturday morning. There's no formal sign-in at assembly or formal dinner. These are all choices. A choice which you have all earned by the hard work that you have put in to reach this milestone and becoming adults. Although it is a choice, I want to submit to you that it is a choice that has ramifications for your own prosperity, happiness, and health. For the next 30 to 50 years of your lives, you'll be busy. There will be enough things that you have to do that will fill up your day and then some. College academic work, first jobs, families, children. And believe me, those responsibilities alone are more than enough to fill the time we have, and they're really important things which should be priorities. But, in my opinion, they do not completely fill the soul. I submit to you that by leaning into your community and embracing diverse experiences, that you will actually have more success and happiness in all aspects of your life: academic work, jobs, and most importantly, family. These acts will support you and strengthen your lives and the lives of others around you. So what are examples of this? How do we lean into our communities? How do we embrace diversity? Well, it's been modeled for you here at Millbrook in small and large ways. The most basic example is the imperative of being known and needed. One of the most innocent but important misconceptions about inclusion is that the act of inclusivity means that we don't see difference. It makes sense, right? You want people to think that you don't see their differences or treat them differently because of their unique aspects. I actually really get that sentiment, but to be known and needed actually really means you are seen and appreciated. Leaning into your community here at Millbrook for the last 4 years has for sure made someone who felt other known and needed. Also, that act of seeing others fills up your own cup of needs. Hang on to this, embrace this, lean into your future communities. Class of 2024, embrace diversity. The importance of diversity has for a long time been discussed through a social justice lens. The imperative has been about doing the right thing. Immerse yourself in diverse communities because it is morally right. You could each develop your own view about this morality. For me, that happens to resonate, but it might not for others. And I think that's okay. And as much as I celebrate and appreciate diversity purely for social justice reasons, I believe that truly practicing that belief means that we allow room for those who do not. So my words of advice extend beyond celebrating diversity for that reason. It's more about celebrating diversity because it makes you better. I submit that it will make you more successful in whatever path you choose. Why? Because the beauty of diverse opinions and experiences is that they are multiplicative, not additive. When you put together a group of people who think the same way because they had the same experiences or backgrounds, the answers and outcomes are predictable, static, and not innovative. Conversely, when you put together people with diverse backgrounds and experiences, the answers and outcomes are unpredictable, frame-breaking, unique, and innovative. When I was in my late 20s, I was trying to make the move from being an analyst to an investor. I'd convinced myself that the key was finding the right way to invest. I was in search of this epiphany that would lead me down the right path. I figured that I could learn that in business school, so I enrolled. Much to my chagrin, I met many successful people who were applying different approaches to investing. Well, wait, how is that possible? And then it hit me. It was not about the approach, it was about how they had married a specific approach with their own personality. This realization would not have been possible unless I immersed myself with different people. Just like at Millbrook, we had all come from different paths to get to graduate school. But because we stopped, leaned into community, and celebrated our common diversity, we were all able to learn. Now, this is probably not the example of diversity that you expected to hear, but I wanted to share it because to me it highlights how expansive the concept diversity is, and that it's really a mindset to be practiced across our lives. Class of 2024, you are about to enter a world that is more polarized than ever. Technological innovations such as the internet and mass media make it easy to focus insularly. It can be understandably scary to lean into your community and celebrate diversity. My advice, my wish, my plea is that you resist this temptation. Be the ones who have uncomfortable conversations with people who have different views and experiences than you. Reject the principle that living in an echo chamber that reinforces your own thoughts is healthy. Embrace a growth mindset. The faculty, staff, and administration at Millbrook placed a bet on you. Take what you have learned here as part of this amazing community and spread it to the world. We need you. So the next time you're going through Grand Central Station, You don't need to stop and get to know strangers, unless you want to, in which case I highly encourage it. Instead, perhaps it can be a reminder to take stock. Appreciate the fact that everyone who was there took a different path. Ask yourself, have I leaned into my community? Have I celebrated diversity? Congratulations, class of 2024. We are all so proud of you.
Thank you, Steve. Our commencement speaker this year is Rabbi Darcy Crystal, parent of Eli, class of 2024, and Hannah, class of 2025. Rabbi Crystal brings 25 years of diverse professional experience in roles that include serving as congregational leader, educator, and board chair of multiple nonprofit organizations. Her work highlights a deep commitment to community building and education, and she has shared this commitment with Millbrook students and faculty since the Crystal family became a part of our community in 2020. She has played a very active role in facilitating dinners on campus, activities for the Jewish student group, including celebratory meals during important holidays. Rabbi Crystal also played a leadership role in Millbrook School's AIM survey, assessing inclusion and multiculturalism to evaluate Millbrook's current standing in the areas of diversity, multiculturalism, equity, and justice. At Central Synagogue's Center for Exploring Judaism in New York City, Rabbi Crystal works extensively with individuals from various backgrounds, fostering an inclusive approach to religious education and guiding those who seek conversion to Judaism. She has taught numerous classes at Central Synagogue's Adult Education Department and in the Rabbinical School at Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion. She previously served as a rabbi at Temple Bethel of Great Neck and Tamid, the downtown synagogue. She is also known for her past leadership as chair of the boards of Moving Traditions and the Princeton University Center for Jewish Life Hillel. Rabbi Crystal holds a BA from Princeton University and an MAHL and ordination from Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion. She resides in Manhattan with her husband Jonathan, their children Eli, Hannah, and Abram, and their dog Maisie. I am delighted to welcome to the podium Rabbi Darcy Crystal.
Mr. Downs, Reverend Hardy, Mr. Rogers, Ms. Clark, faculty, staff, students, families, and most importantly, members of the class of 2024. It is my honor to speak to you today as we celebrate the accomplishments of this group of graduates. Class of 2024, do you remember the first time you traveled down Millbrook School Road? I imagine you had so many questions and doubts, maybe even some fears. For many of you, it was September of 2020 or 2021. You had to take a COVID test. So many COVID tests. You were greeted by student leaders whose faces were covered with masks. Your parents could help you carry your bags to the door of your dorm, but they certainly couldn't enter to help you unpack. There you were, holding your duffel bags and walking into the unknown. Who would your friends be? What classes would you love? What teachers and coaches would become your biggest supporters and your mentors? Which classmates would become your lifelong friends? When Eli left for Millbrook, I had some questions too. Foremost among them, would Millbrook be a place that would reinforce the values we taught in our home? It was 2019 when Eli approached us with an unexpected idea. He had just joined his first club lacrosse team, a sport, by the way, that I did not understand at all. Eli was thriving on his school and club football and basketball teams, and he was doing well academically. So we were caught off guard when he said, "I want to go to boarding school." My husband and I looked at each other, wondering where this came from. My New York friends were equally surprised. Boarding school's no place for a nice Jewish boy. Nonetheless, trusting Eli's instinct, in 2020, in the midst of a global pandemic, we made the decision to embrace boarding school for our family. And now, 4 years after driving down that road for the first time, I can answer my own question about Millbrook School. I have come to believe that Millbrook has given you tools for a successful life. Like all great religious traditions, Judaism has a powerful way of describing these tools. In a 2nd century text known as the Ethics of the Ancestors, the rabbis say that the world stands on 3 things. Like a tripod, the world cannot balance on only 2 legs. We need all 3 in equal measure. First, the world stands on Torah, the pursuit of knowledge and learning. This is learning that is deep and comes from a place of passion and, yes, curiosity. I loved watching the show Ted Lasso with my family. The show features a wholesome American football coach who's hired by an English soccer, or more accurately, football team. In one episode, Ted is at the local pub when he bumps into Rupert, a bully, who's the ex-owner of the team. Nonchalantly, Ted tosses some darts at a board with an unimpressive result. Seeing this, Rupert proposes a game, and they agree on a high-stakes wager. The men take turns, and Rupert gains the advantage. It's time for Ted's last turn. The pressure is on. He needs an extraordinary result to beat Rupert's score. He throws his first dart, and it's really good. Then the second, even better. Before throwing the final dart, Ted turns to Rupert. He remarks that people like Rupert have always underestimated him. And he offers a reason why in the form of a quote from the poet Walt Whitman: "Be curious, not judgmental." If Rupert had been curious, he might have asked a question like, "Have you played a lot of darts, Ted?" To which Ted would have said, "Yes, every Sunday with my dad." You may have guessed what happens next. Bullseye. You have accomplished much here at Millbrook. But more important than any math concept or literary genre you have studied, you have learned how to learn. You have learned how to read critically, how to write articulately, and how to analyze text and formulate arguments. You have learned to fairly consider all sides of a position and to make your own judgments. I hope you have also learned to be curious, to ask good questions. This will make you a better student and one who will approach learning from a place of open-mindedness. So the world stands on learning. Second, the sages say that the world stands on avodah, which I translate as selfless service. You have all spent hours working on some of the many community service programs here, like Millie Thrift, the farm, recycling, the zoo, and as ambassadors. Real service is hard work. It requires sacrifice and determination. When you leave Millbrook, it may feel overwhelming to look at the world and wonder how you can make a difference. Philanthropist Dr. Ruth Gottesman recently donated $1 billion to Albert Einstein Medical College in the Bronx. She gave the gift so that no future medical student would have to pay tuition to attend medical school there. She knew that gift would improve the lives of so many future students, generations of doctors to come, who would not have to take on debt or who would otherwise not be able to attend medical school at all. But it's not only money that enables this type of service. Some of you have spent Saturday nights on a midnight run in Manhattan. As you handed a homeless person a bag of toothpaste and deodorant or a warm pair of socks, you also looked them in the eye and engaged in conversation. You gave them a sense of dignity in a city where often they are invisible. Service takes knowledge that you can make a difference. It takes a willingness to sacrifice some of what is yours to help. And it takes a commitment to make things better for everyone. Non sibi sed cunctus, not for oneself, but for all. Mr. Downs, Mr. Morrissey, Ms. Reverend Hardy, all of you who lead this school exemplify this value. It is abundantly clear that you are preparing students to go out into the world and to serve. So let's recap. The world stands on learning rooted in curiosity. The world stands on selfless service. And third, the rabbis say that the world stands on gemilut chasadim, acts of loving kindness. I don't expect you to be rewarded with kind bars out there in the real world. But please know that you will be rewarded in different ways for treating others with care and love and generosity and empathy. In the past few months alone, we have witnessed very difficult moments on some of our country's college campuses, events that have made many students feel threatened and intimidated. Treating others with kindness relies on the first two legs of the tripod. Kindness demands that we tap into our curiosity about someone else's perspective or motivations. It demands that we commit to dialogue that will build bridges and not create isolation and fear. It requires us to acknowledge the beauty and the humanity of even those with whom we disagree. And it means that sometimes we suspend our own interests in the service of another's. I have witnessed so much kindness at Millbrook. I felt the love and support from both Eli and Hannah's advisors, Ms. Vollmer and Ms. Bernard, who reached out to our family immediately after the October 7th attacks in Israel to see how we were doing. I have stood on the sidelines of my share of lacrosse and football games. I have witnessed the sportsmanship of our players. I have witnessed the encouraging guidance of our coaches. I have had conversations with you, the parents of our Millbrook players, who show up to cheer on our teams in rain or shine, sleet or heat, win or lose. Many of you have helped me bring Shabbat and Jewish holidays to campus, and I have seen the unbelievable generosity and kindness that you bring. What a special privilege it is to be part of a community that values kindness, that takes care of each other. Dear graduates, look around at the faces of your classmates. Just a few years ago, these were strangers, and now you are bound together as members of this special class. Were those bonds made while marshmucking or cleaning out the wolves' cage? Were the bonds strengthened over solving a difficult math problem together or discussing an essay with a peer? Were they made during a trivia challenge or a ping pong game on winter weekend? Were they made on stage or in the studio? Were they forged on the turf, the court, the range, or the ice? You have built a community, and that is something amazing. And it's something that I imagine and hope will keep you connected to one another and to Millbrook for years to come. I am grateful that Millbrook's leadership and faculty care deeply and invest so much into knowing each student, nurturing the whole person. I am grateful that Eli has developed friendships he will cherish for the rest of his life. I am proud of you, Eli, and I am proud of all of you who will walk across this stage in just a few moments. And I am honored to be a part of this community that holds dear the values of learning, service, and kindness. Class of 2024, hold tight to those three tools, gifted to you and honed during your time here, and carry them with you, because our world depends on you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Darcy. An inspiration to us all. It is a Millbrook tradition for the sixth form to elect one of their own to speak at commencement. The class of 2024 has made an inspired choice with the selection of Sally Pinchot. You can come up. Sally is a 3-year sixth former, a dorm leader, a JV athletics aficionado, class of 1978 award recipient, and she is someone who has left this school better than she's found it. She's the priest, she's Kevin G., she's Uncle Fester, she's Sally. Sally, please join me to accept an endowed gift on behalf of the son of Mrs. William Leonard, which we give to the elected speaker each year. And as you stand here on the stage, I will tee you up by reiterating what I said last night. It is a rare and unusual moment in Millbrook history when unknowingly and simultaneously the full faculty votes on a recipient of the 1978 award and the sixth form votes on the same student to be the speaker on graduation day. So here you are, and we cannot wait to hear what you have to say.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to start this out with a quote. To see the world, things dangerous to come to see behind walls, to draw closer, to find each other, and to feel. That is the purpose of life. Ben Stiller. I just want to say, standing up here means everything to me. My classmates mean everything to me, and this school means everything to me. Being the first female commencement speaker in the last 11 years is the greatest honor I've ever had in my life. I feel blessed to have the opportunity to talk about my love for every one of my peers, as well as the school that brought us together. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to my mom, who I can almost 100% assure all of you is crying right now. She's over there. As well as my brothers, grandma, and advisor, Miss Allen, for everything. Dad, I know you're proudly watching from above, and I wish you were here in the audience listening to see how far I've come. Finally, this speech is dedicated to this school, this community, and most importantly, the class of 2024. Experiencing high school with you all is one of the greatest blessings I've ever been given, and I'm truly grateful for every single one of you. Right now, I want all of you to look to your right and left. Maybe you're sitting beside one of your best friends, someone you share a class with, or someone you want to desperately get away from because it is 1,000 degrees in this tent and they're probably sweaty. Whatever the answer is, I want you to reflect on the journey we've all shared and savor the moment together. To all my classmates, cannot be prouder of us. We made it. Following up on the quote I started with, as I give this speech, I urge all of you to cry when a tear comes, laugh when a moment is funny, and feel every single moment. I'm going to be honest, when trying to come up with the right words to explain the class of 2024, the word unique was at the top of my list, so take that as you will. I know in these speeches, the class speaker will usually exaggerate and say that their class was utterly perfect and unified in every way. I know how much the admissions office would like me to say that as they recruit the incoming class of 2029. However, I want to be honest with all 1,200 of you. My class was not always perfect. We weren't always a flawless group, but no one ever really is. Don't worry, Mr. Morrissey, I won't dirty the nest too much. We weren't always a perfectly unified group because no one in our grade is exactly the same. This is not a bad thing by any means. In fact, it's wonderful, so stick with me here. I believe our class contains the most diverse set of individuals with unique talents, personalities, and interests out of any graduating class I've seen at Millbrook, ever. From writing prodigies, Picasso-skilled painters, D1 athletes, actors, zoo curators, and comedians, we have it all. We are brilliantly unique, offering so much value to our school in so many different categories. So, class of 2024, I think that's a pretty amazing legacy to leave. I also can't forget about our most notable accomplishment, being the class most out of dress code. And I'm not joking when I say that. Senioritis hit us all hard, the hoodies took over, and we sent Mr. Downs spiraling. We all owe immense gratitude to Miss Allen, Miss Fulmer, Mr. Peary, and Miss LaFawn in the college office for setting us up for an excellent education. Our classmates are attending Georgetown, Cornell, and Carnegie Mellon, to name a few. Wondering where everyone else is? You can then find the rest of our class, what I like to call the Big Three: SMU, Elon, or TCU. Go Horned Frogs. Our class has world-class athletes, unafraid to push boundaries and shatter Millbrook records. Just a few days ago, our boys lacrosse team became Western Division champs. So many people, yeah. So many people, both boys and girls, are committed to play the sport they love at the next level. A super impressive feat. I can totally relate to this as the captain of the elite, highly scouted team, which is girls JV lacrosse. We lost to 7th graders this week, if that says anything. 2024 has definitely been different from the other graduating classes at Millbrook. We are authentic. Our class has every kind of talent that can be found. Although none of us are entirely similar or like the same things, our unique talents and personalities have showcased a collage of all the beauty Millbrook has to offer. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I came to Millbrook as a sophomore from Dallas, Texas, not Houston, Mr. Downs. I applied here because my grandfather, my mom, and my uncle all attended here. I've heard about this small school of about 330 students in some random place called Millbrook, New York for my entire life. When I was 6, I always just remembered it as, oh, the school where my mom had to feed owls in the zoo mice every night. The zoo sounded extremely appealing to me when I was younger until I was accidentally locked into a kinkajou cage at feeding time I would not recommend. Little did I know how much more complex and impactful this place would be to me in a few years. When I opened that acceptance email at 8 a.m. in 2021, I knew my life was about to change. I'm not sure how many of you knew me the first week of school, but I had a bit of a southern twang, pretty consistently saying things like y'all or dang it. Being in the middle of nowhere in New York, I felt like a bit of an outsider at first. Shortly after arriving at Millbrook, I picked up a new language that I'm sure most of my peers would recognize. Eat became muck, cafeteria became dining hall, and every hello quickly became a roll of stangs. My first conversation with my mom on the very first open weekend of my sophomore year left her extremely concerned about what had happened to her child's vocabulary. This change of speech may seem unimportant to some of you, but these new words were proof of just how quickly the Millbrook community accepts and leaves an imprint on you. Circling back, our class is brilliantly unique. For that, we should all be proud. I think everyone who has attended this school agrees that Millbrook breeds absolute beauty. The beauty of differences, the beauty of nature, the beauty of healthy competition, the beauty of acceptance, and the beauty of community. In a few minutes, we'll walk across the stage and earn our diploma, our final step as we leave this community, which I know we're all so eager to do. To move away to college, to travel, meet new people, and leave the bubble of School Road that we have lived within for so long. However, please don't think ahead too much. I urge you to reflect. Reflect on how Millbrook has changed your life and recognize the beauty that our community has provided you all. Places like Abbott, Harris, Clark, Guest, Case, Burton, Farmhouse, and West were once your homes. I know how much we all miss the smell of when someone in the dorm microwaves fish, or someone starts blasting house music at 6 a.m., making the dorm sound like a nightclub. I know we all miss these temporary homes we've lived in. Our movie posters, artwork, flags, and mini fridges will all be removed, leaving an empty space for people in upcoming years to call their own. They probably won't know who you are or that you lived in the same room, but the fact that they're able to make their own memories and feel the same connection to a tiny square as you did is pretty beautiful in and of itself. As I mentioned before, today you should allow yourself to feel every emotion. You should feel the sadness of saying goodbye to your favorite underformers, teachers, and advisors, but also feel proud that you made it here. Sitting in this quad, in this tent, is undeniable evidence that you, yes you, have persevered through whatever you may have gone through in your life. Stress, grief, loneliness, self-doubt, depression, all of those issues were not enough to stop you from getting to this moment. So pat yourself on the back. From applying to college, blame papers, CES presentations, and a demon-biting caterpillar infestation this spring, we have persevered. We are leaving our mark on this school, and those caterpillars definitely left their mark on us. I'm covered in bug bites. Before we move on as adults into the next stage of our lives, I want to go back in time. Let me set the scene. It's a humid day in early September. You wear the special outfit of overalls, red buckled shoes, and a pink ribbon in your hair that your mom picked out for you. You walk outside to the dewy morning air with your backpack nearly the size of you, causing you to lean backward as you pose for a photo on the front steps of your home. I know the parents in the audience remember taking this exact photo. This is probably the moment they realized their child was growing up. Went by pretty fast, didn't it? You had butterflies in your stomach and you were filled with excitement of the unknown. This is your first day of kindergarten in 2010 or 2011. Back then, that was the most special day of your life thus far. I went to Bedford Village Elementary School with some of my classmates in the audience right now, so this is very full circle for us as you celebrate the new most important day of our life thus far. At least for me, back then I was holding my baby blanket in my hands as I leapt into a new stage of my life. I wish my mom would have given me a watch to go with my overalls because I was not prepared for how quickly time would fly by. Fast forward to today. Although you may no longer be holding your baby blanket or sucking your thumb as you once did, the feeling remains the same. This feeling of excitement and nervousness about the unknown is all too similar to what most of you are feeling as we're about to walk across this stage. This is the moment you've worked so hard for, since you were a little kindergartner posing for that first day of school photo, all the way to now. This is it. The lives we will all move on to and the colleges we all will attend seem extremely exciting in hindsight. But in the words of my favorite song by Edward Sharpe, home, let me come home. Home is whenever I'm with you. Millbrook will forever and always be our home, our community, and the space we will continue to be part of for the rest of our lives. From School Road, the Trevor Zoo, Schoolhouse, Casertano Hall, the Quad, and Pulling Circle, we have made memories. A piece of ourselves will be left in each of these spaces even after we leave. Now, I told my mom before I gave the speech that I would be a wreck on graduation day. I just knew I'd cry. She asked me if they'd be sad or happy tears, and honestly, I can't tell. It's a pretty bittersweet moment for all of us. We become official alumnus in just a few minutes. The experiences we have had will soon turn to fond memories. It wouldn't be fair of me to constantly talk about these so-called Millbrook memories in the speech without giving you all an example. I wanted to share this story with one of my core memories with you all, and hopefully it'll ring a bell for some of my peers. There I was, a shy new student in my sophomore year. The very first bonfire of the year happened in the early fall. PSA, I was not wearing red buckled shoes or ribbon in my hair anymore, but people who I'd never seen, let alone talked to, were all congregating around the fire. Suddenly, a circle of people, strangers to me, joined shoulder to shoulder and began singing along to Stubborn Love by the Lumineers, which was blasting on the speaker. The smoke and debris from the fire were going to all of our eyes, but no one seemed to care. Each of us had a s'more in hand, courtesy of Miss Havard, as we stood beside each other, watching the flames grow higher and higher. There I was. A few months prior, I was basically living alone in an apartment in Dallas, Texas. The only way I needed to finish my school year before I could fly to my new house in New York, where the rest of my family was. The only way I could do that is by living independently in an apartment, as my dad was sick then. I was used to waking myself up for school each morning, making my own meals, and tucking myself in at night. If you know me, you know I love independence, but I was alone, and I didn't have anyone taking care or nurturing me. Suddenly, as if the universe knew I needed it, I found myself arm in arm with strangers. Strangers who had different interests, who lived in different places and had different backgrounds. We all shared one very important and life-altering similarity. We were students at the same quirky, exciting, and beautiful boarding school. At that moment, I was no longer living on my own or lonely as I once had been, but rather, I was both physically and emotionally unified with people my age. I remember the moment we all started singing, "Keep Your Head Up, Keep Your Love," in unison as the sparks of the fire got dangerously close to singeing our eyebrows off. Whether we knew each other's names or not, didn't matter. This moment confirmed 3 things for me. 1, Millbrook was a special place. 2, no matter how many times you deep condition, bonfire smoke will not come out of your hair. And 3, for the first time in a long time, I was no longer alone. These core memories only continued as the year went on. Bonfires like that happened every few weeks. I love the complexities of this campus. We're loud, we're quiet, we're serene, we're rowdy. Some of my favorite moments have been walking to and from schoolhouse during study hall. Campus is silent and the moon is full. Or face paint, staining our hands when we hold up posters with pure excitement against Pomfret. Don't worry, we got them next year. Wholesome quad nights where amidst a sea of spikeball games, music is blasting for everyone to hear. Music echoing off the same buildings that have stood in place listening to quad nights for decades. Friday night light games with a sea of blue and white, watching our peers absolutely dominate. Sitting in the audience supporting your peers as you enjoy all the hilarious entertainment from the winter musical. The Case Boys operating the grill during Spring Carnival, serving some killer but usually dangerously undercooked hot dogs. Huddling into a dorm room and laughing with your friends until the dorm parent tells you to be quiet because it's study hall. Each of these memories is so different from the other, but regardless provides so much joy. Much like these very different memories, my peers in the class of 2024 are all unique, but each individual contributes to the beauty of this campus. These moments have fundamentally shaped who we are today. These are life moments that breed happiness and community, and Millbrook has helped all of us make these moments happen. Lastly, I know that during this speech, I've showcased and reminisced about the beauty of Millbrook and all the experiences we've had here. Despite this, I think it's important for us to leave this campus, even though I know how hard it feels right now. In order for us to grow as individuals, it's vital for us to visit new places, form new connections, try new food, visit other zoos, and discover parts of ourselves we may not have known before. There's just so much to look forward to. I think I speak for all of our class when I say the future looks very bright ahead of us. However, if you take anything from this speech, don't be afraid to look at the shimmering light we are leaving behind us as well. A light that is illuminated with joy, community, and Millbrook memories. Memories that have helped us see behind walls, draw closer, find each other, and feel. Together, class of 2024, we have experienced and found the true purpose of life in a small but mighty community at the end of School Road. Home is whenever I'm with you all, class of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. We now move to our 4 individual commencement awards: the Casertano Cup, the Edward G. Allen Sportsmanship Cup, the Community Service Cup, and Summa Cum Laude. These prizes, and these prizes only, are included in commencement ceremony because they represent those qualities that we value most, qualities that we seek to inspire in all Millbrook students: growth in concert with the community, sportsmanship, service, academic achievement. The Casertano Cup was established in 2021 in an award to honor Drew and Linda Casertano's transformational service of 31 years. The citation simply reads, "For growth and perseverance in pursuit of the best self and the common good." The recipient of the Casertano Cup is Rayon Rustam. Rayon, when we notified your advisor, Ms. Wen, that you were going to be the recipient of the Casertano Cup, she said that the description of the award could not be more aligned with your experience here. At the risk of sharing too much, Ms. Wen recalls when your mother came back to Millbrook from Saudi Arabia to help you think through whether or not you should stay at Millbrook. You were struggling with homesickness and finding your footing, and ultimately you chose to stay and not return home, and you said, "I'll try my best." That became your motto. You grew from achieving 1A 4th form year to straight A's this year. You grew as a photographer. Check out Rayon's work in the Strong Box. You grew as a leader, international student leader, dorm leader, zoo curator, and perhaps most importantly, Ms. Wen points out, that your peers see you as a brother. They want to be around you because of your maturity, kindness, and curiosity. Thank you for trying your best, Rayon. Growth and the simultaneous pursuit of the best self and common good is the spirit of this award, and it is obvious to us all why you are on this stage. Congratulations. The Edward G. Allen Sportsmanship Cup, established by the class of 1942 and later named for our late beloved athletic director, Ed Allen. This cup stands for sportsmanship and fine athletic service. Sportsmanship is the ability to win or lose with grace, dignity, and a spirit of contribution above what is expected. These are the qualities that Ed embodied as an athlete and sought to inspire as a coach. Mrs. Allen, will you please join me on stage to present this award? By vote of the varsity coaches, this year, the Edward G. Allen Sportsmanship Cup is awarded to Jivi Florestal Mojito. What's up, Jibby? So, quick quiz, Jibby. 45, 17, and 2. What do those numbers mean? 45, 17, and 2. That is his senior year athletic record for varsity soccer, varsity basketball, and varsity lacrosse. 45, 17, and 2. Soccer went to the New England semifinals. Basketball were runners-up in the New England finals, and lacrosse, Western New England champions. I've got to check the books with Mr. Soriento, but you might hold the best single-year record in Millbrook athletic history. What's amazing is that you did not play on or make any varsity team your freshman or sophomore year. 2 years ago, your varsity record was 0, 0, and 0. And here's how your coaches describe you. Okoli says, relentless hard work and improvement, determination, that you burn bright. That limited playing time fuels you to earn more time on the field the old-fashioned way, working for it. Okoli says that you're the glue, that you have an ability to inject enthusiasm, infuse the air with positivity. It's almost as if you possess a secret recipe for team morale, equal parts charm and skill. Coach Tom says you are the epitome of grit. You were cut twice from varsity basketball and then voted captain of the team by your teammates your senior year, which clearly shows what your teammates think about you. All three of your coaches love that you love practice. Coach Tom says, the meteorology of the gym changes when you arrive. There is more excitement, more heat, more lightning, more thunder. Mr. Morrissey reminds us that you did not even touch a lacrosse stick until your junior year. And on one of our best teams, in one of the most competitive leagues in the country, you were a leader on defense and even scored a goal against Worcester and Suffield. Of course, Jivvy, sportsmanship isn't really about sports at all. It's about character, about bringing the best out of others, even and especially when they are your opponents. On behalf of the coaches and the faculty, we are honored that your name will forever be engraved on the Edward G. Allen Sportsmanship Cup. The Community Service Cup. The citation reads, for excellence in community service. On behalf of the faculty who elect each year's recipient, I am pleased to invite two students to the stage, Sarah Egan and Karita Alleen. Yep, stay there. So here's the irony of this situation. Sarah and Karita don't care. They don't care if anyone notices or if there's some reward or award for giving back to others or to this community. It is not about the outcome for Sarah or Karita. They do what they do because they intuitively know it is right. They are hardwired with selflessness, humility, and gratitude. But guess what, Sarah and Karita? We don't care that you don't care. We noticed, and you will accept this recognition whether you like it or not. Karita, you make everything you do look effortless. Your grades are perfect. The art you make is skilled, creative, sensitive, and expressive. You have served Millbrook as a contributor to the track program, as a prefect, 2-year dorm leader, student tutor, and goddess of the tech booth. Miss Bernard says when Karita speaks, everyone listens, and I mean everyone. She is unflappable, no nonsense, with a searing, spicy sense of humor. I will confess to our audience today that a few members of our faculty have asked me how Millbrook will function when Karita leaves. And they were serious. So maybe we can talk about a retainer fee since you'll be down the road at Vassar. Yes, I just said it. To keep the spirit of public confessions alive, Sarah Egan has been called by a few faculty as the one. She's the only student I know of to receive a heads recognition of excellence 3 summers in a row, and the only student I know of that when a dorm parent was in a pinch and needed to run out for an emergency, we said, well, we have an adult supervising, Sarah's on duty tonight. Your perfect grades speak for themselves. You're a scientist, an artist, a writer, a philosopher, an athlete, and a leader. Your contributions to our community range from Millbrook ambassadors, 2-time dorm leader, student tutor, and of course, head curator of the Trevor Zoo. And your work there led you to be the only high school student in the country to be selected to present at the Association of Zoos and Aquariums annual conference. Yep, that's worth it. Your advisor, Mrs. Depew, says that you are one of the hardest working, most effective, and inspiring students our zoo has ever seen. And your ability to get work done and simultaneously encourage and hold fellow students accountable is simply remarkable. Mrs. Depew is thrilled that you will forever have Millbrook and Cornell as shared experiences. Karita and Sarah, forgive me for putting you through this and putting you in the spotlight. I am sorry I'm not sorry. We are grateful for all that you have done for Millbrook, seen and unseen. Congratulations. Summa cum laude. At commencement in 1962, Headmaster Edward Poling announced that he and Mrs. Poling were establishing a special award to honor the ranking scholar in each class. The member of the class of 2024 who graduates at the top, summa cum laude, this year is Tianyu Chen. Hi, Tianyu. So here's the end of your journey at Millbrook. Honors painting and drawing, A+. French 4, your third language, A+. AP English, your second language, A. Advanced Comparative Economics, A+. AP BC Calculus, A+. Advanced Physics, A. And of course, we are all wondering, why did you not get A+ in English and physics? What happened, Tianyu? I think she said that those teachers are stingy. You stand before us today because you are the class of 2024's top scholar. Your advisor, Mr. Feidelson, says that you are totally invested in whatever you choose to do, and what's truly amazing, perhaps a little ironic, is that you never seem to chase a grade, but rather you chase the pursuit of knowledge, of learning, and the grades follow. Your curiosity and generosity has led you to this moment, Tianyu. From asynchronous learning in China your freshman year, to arriving to campus, winning the Blaine essay, the math prize, the science prize, and surprising us all with one of the most memorable chapel talks of all time. Until Sally Pinchot, it was the only standing ovation in my time as a head. It's online and it's worth your 9 minutes. You have made Millbrook a more enlightened place of teaching and learning, Tianyu. Thank you and congratulations. Mr. Rogers and Ms. Clark will now assist me in presenting the diplomas to the class of 2024.
Seniors, please rise. Sixth formers, when did you get so old? Seriously, can you believe we're here under this tent with you mere seconds away from getting that hard-earned piece of paper in your hands? You, the class of 2024, have seen a lot in your time at Millbrook. Your very first year here was spent behind masks, sometimes confined to your room. The world was a crazy place back then, and you had to take a leap of faith with us and we with you. In your time here, you've had to weather real adversity and find ways to make sense of a world that is often confusing. Meanwhile, you found joy and made us laugh. You've pushed yourself in the classroom, on the fields and courts and ice, and in Holbrook, and you have shown us what it means to be leaders by modeling non sibi sed cunctus. It is that spirit that has led you to this moment and will continue to lead you well after that last drive down school road. We are so, so proud of you. Liam James Alberti. Carita Jade Aline, cum laude. Grace Noelle Ashford. James Aaron Beckman. Christina Lucia Bellin, cum laude. Daniel James Bergen. Eve Morrow Blatstein. Estella Blue. Ivy Hunt Brawley. Brooke Margaret Brightweiser. Kaya Rain Brereton. Abigail Megan Brown, cum laude. Dale Patrick Campbell. Michelle Jaira Cancer. Francis Rumsey Shandor. Whitney Mills Charlson. Tianyu Chen, cum laude, summa cum laude. Aiden Spring Corbin. Patrick James Costin. Eli Locke Crystal, cum laude. Benjamin Patrick Dale. Abigail Danso. Emerson Wolcott Davis. Joseph T. Dotterer. Juliet Megan Drury. Sarah Rose Egan, cum laude. Georgia Penelope Elsner, cum laude. Jack Baxter Evans. Jessica Abigail Farrell. Grace Lexi Feldman. Giviliani Von Adam Paolo Floristal Mujeto. Jonathan Jose Flores Ukalema. Isaac George Friedman. Macy Jewel Gilbert. Benjamin Arthur Gisoni. Grayson Hayden Goodman. Ann Shevlin Halleck. Bryce Richard Hatfield. Fiona Lucille Hazel. Zachary McClure Herman. Rua C. Huang, cum laude. Philip Beckett Iceland. Chase Jackson. Shay Noel J. Seal. Aaron Jean-Francois. Oliver Finley Jelinek. Lucas Matthias Christian Johnson, cum laude. Dalton Kane. Nolan King. Ella Louise Needler. Caitlin Jean Leorno. Nathaniel Walter Leorno. Robert Charles Leorno. Caroline Ann Leary, cum laude. Pedro Francois Leon. Dylan Yone Rose Maynardi. Rahim Abdel Rahman Mohammed, cum laude. Poppy Katrin Morley. Henry Morrow. Molly Ann Arpini Morrissey. Kaylee Elizabeth Murphy. Kelly Catherine Naula Quezada, cum laude. Charlie Lynn Newman. Charlotte Connery Norton. L. M. O'Brien. Mark Daniel Ostad. Marshall William Page. Giovanni Vincenzo Panicola. Lila Rose Panachuli, cum laude. Letitia Elizabeth Parker. Finley Michael Patrick. James Patterson. Reed Pettipa. Sally Lucinda Pinchot. Elena Gail Prudence. Gregorio James Quinn, cum laude. Ava Victoria Razor, cum laude. Jackson Rexhouse. Ashley Catherine Rogers. Alexander Baker Rosen. Rayon Gilbert Rustum. Jackson Blair Salmon. Rushman J. Schwartz. Toby Asher Shane. Lily Claire Sleepoy, cum laude. Lucas Rosenthal Sosno. Tyler Reed Spokane, cum laude. Christopher Paul Torres. Jessica Therese Trocchio. Samuel Sow, cum laude. Nashley Stephanie Urhiles Avila. Madison Emily Weiss, cum laude. George Stanley Wilkins IV. Neb Lesession Windsor. Cameron Ann Wooden. Alexander John Yacino. Muyang Yin, cum laude. Jianyin Zhang. Congratulations to the class of 2024. And now, please welcome the Millbrook Singers for a special performance of Millbrook, written by Rufus Wainwright, class of 1991. Hey, stop.
Thank you, Millbrook Singers. In a few moments, you will leave this tent as Millbrook graduates. But before you do, I ask that you listen up one more time so that I may share some wisdom passed down to me by Millbrook's transformative headmaster of 31 years, Mr. Casertano. Life is inevitably complex and challenging. It is unfair, disappointing, cruel, and painful. Life is beautiful. It is filled with opportunity and wonder and people whose kindness and caring are extraordinary. Both statements are true. And to help you cope with the former and find more of the latter, I offer these suggestions. Be grateful, lest you feel entitled. Be humble, lest you feel you know it all. Be courageous, lest you avoid worthy challenges. Be compassionate, lest you become callous. Give to the annual fund. And of course, leave it better than you found it, whoever, whatever, or wherever it is. And finally, remember your teachers fondly, for they, like your parents, are sure to become wiser and more reasonable as you grow older. Or as Mark Twain wrote, "When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years." I wish you Godspeed and all the best that you may find in life. Chaplain Hardy, please bring Millbrook's 93rd commencement to a joyous close.
I'll get us out of here quickly. Let us join in the spirit of meditation and prayer. On the verge of an end and a beginning, Creator God, source of our knowing, bless us. We are generations of families and friends, teachers and students, parents, and children. We give thanks for the contribution of abundant and diverse gifts offered by each of us throughout this year. We give thanks for trust in our strength to be challenged, that we will endure and we will gain insight. We give thanks for compassion, reconciliation, and healing, the fuel for us to face and embrace change, to grow unevenly, to navigate, yes, past, present, and future, and rest in the constellation of our being. For the great gift of kinship and friendship, that gift which will sustain us as who we are long after we part today. We are blessed. Godspeed.
Here we go.
Let's start with the country club. Shall we?
Hi, I'm Grace Ashford. I'm a graduating senior, and this is Moving On. Hi, I'm Grace Ashford. I'm a graduating senior, and this is Moving On.